Welcome.
He did make it.
I got a night cool.
All right, what am I gonna learn?
All right, everybody, we're going to call this workshop to order. Welcome to the workshop of August 23rd, 2022, and we really appreciate everyone being here with us this evening. I'm going to ask Val to call the roll for the City Commission.
Commissioner Penny?
Here.
Commissioner Curry?
Here.
Commissioner Daniel?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Mayor Villa?
Here, and at this time too, we're going to go around. We are joined here today. By the way, I'm saying all of this because you see this microphone up here. It's recording us. It is by law. We have to do that, so it'll be in public record. So what I want to do, sitting here at the table with us, please introduce your name and your position as you are joining us for this workshop.
I'm Gary Melring from American Legion Post 120, and I'm on the executive board.
Thank you, Gary.
Don Lepore, American Legion Post 120, Executive Board and Veterans Affairs Chairman.
Gillis Blaze, American Legion 380, DAV 84, past commander of the council, and a catch-all.
That's it? I know you got a whole list.
Don't give it more than
The
that.
whole list. Come on.
We only have an hour.
Yeah, we don't have all night.
We only have an hour.
You can
Commissioner,
pick your
Boy Scout leader, police officer.
The tape just
Police
ran out.
Explorer Driver.
My name is Larry Wells. I'm the commander of DAV 84, along with Gillis, my friend Don here. I've been the commander for a few years, unexpectedly, but we're trying to make things work.
Thank you, Commander.
Don Moore, Junior Vice Commander, DAV Chapter 84, and also Bingo Chairman. Anybody want it?
All right, I appreciate that. I appreciate you all being here tonight. This obviously is a workshop to discuss the Veterans Monument that many of us have been working on for many years now. As probably most of you know, we ran into issues with, first it was COVID and everything kind of stopped, and then it was supply issues, then it was finding the right granite company to do this. And the City Commission, I think a couple years ago, we commissioned this monument, and obviously it is to dedicate it to all veterans, but primarily the ones from Holly Hill who sacrificed their life. There's no greater thing that we could absolutely put on a pedestal. And so a little background of this was right out front of City Hall here, we had a fountain for many years and didn't hold much historical significance, as we found out.
Didn't hold much water either.
Yeah. And it was a maintenance nightmare, and so we thought of what else could go there and to be on display, and that's the most important part of this beautiful historic City Hall, and so we thought there was nothing better than to honor our veterans. So that's kind of how we got here today. And so tonight we're going to be talking about, we have found the overall design of what the memorial will look like, meaning the granite, and we have the cost and all of that. So yes, sir, Don has it right there in front of him if anyone wants to see that. So tonight we'll be discussing, you want to see that? Thank you. So tonight we'll be discussing what's actually going to be inscribed on it. And
Very nice.
this is, I think Commissioner Petty said at one point, this is the most important thing we could ever do, is put something in stone. And so we wanted to make sure that we had input from, we make sure all the spelling's right, but input from our veteran community as well. So that's why we wanted you here tonight. We have a list of veterans that we have compiled, and I have to give a very, very, very special thank you to Mr. Lepore. Thank you for all the hard work that you have done. Just so everybody knows, he has gone into archives and put together multiple binders of research and has turned that into me over the last, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, we came up with originally 10 names, and since then we found 2 more.
Right.
And we, luckily, Mayor Chris, we have profiles of those gentlemen too.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Luckily, so
Great.
these will go into the original book.
Great.
And what we found was fallen heroes of World War II from Daytona Beach. And thank God the Holly Hill fallen heroes who were in that book.
Yes, sir, yes. And we received that book as well. We have it in the city clerk's office. And from that, we have a total of 16 names on this master list. But we are going to have to go through these because we reached out to the community and said, hey, because a lot of times if someone died from Holly Hill, they may have said just Daytona Beach because it was, a bigger area.
Right.
So that, we didn't want to miss anybody, so we put it out to the community and said, hey, do you know anybody that served and passed away during their time? So we came up with a list of 16 names, but there is a question on the first one on this list because it says he served in Vietnam, but it says that he died in 2003. So I don't know if that was directly related to wounds or categorized as that, so we'll have to find that out.
It looks like he's really not old enough to serve in Vietnam.
He was born in 58.
When did Vietnam end?
I know.
Said,
What year did
I know, that's what I'm saying. You're right. I don't think he's old enough.
Well, Vietnam ended in
75.
Yeah.
he's
He would have been 17, he would have been old enough then.
been old enough, so a little
Right.
question about
I
that
got
one.
this from, this recommendation came from Jeff Martin,
Okay.
and that's what he sent me.
All right, so we'll look into that. We'll check it out, but.
Maybe the dates are wrong or something.
Maybe the dates are wrong, but if anyone sees any errors or anything, please bring
Now,
that to our attention.
Can I ask
Yes,
a
sir.
question, because I'm new at this? You want those who served in Vietnam and also they died in Vietnam, or can it be a veteran who served in like Korean War, Vietnam, and passed away in Holly Hill?
Anytime that they were on active duty and passed away,
Yes. Vietnam.
not just Vietnam, anytime they were on active duty and passed away, whether it was due to combat or any other reason, as long as you were active
Attributed to
military.
service.
Passed away while on duty?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Any
I have
conflict.
veterans that passed away and they were in Vietnam and the Korean War, but they didn't die because of service. They,
Right.
okay.
And
Gotcha.
they're to be commended as well, but these are specifically killed in action.
Gotcha.
And to put their name in stone. So, so tonight we're going to be speaking about what we can and cannot put on the Veterans Memorial, and a couple things that I'll just start off with, and then I'm going to toss it to my commissioners on anything you want to talk about. But some questions that we need to get out of the way is, and some housekeeping is, we have to determine the seals or insignia of which branches are going on, meaning that now there is Space Force, and in my research, I can't see any insignia of Space Force on a Veterans Memorial, although it is now a branch of the military, but I'm not aware of any deaths that they've had yet, hopefully never, but and then also, so there would be 5 then, and on our mock-up, I really like the look of,
Pull the thing up.
are you?
Yeah, I can't,
I really like the, well, and everyone, I think, saw the paper.
3
here,
and
but
3
there's-
looks
Yeah, the
good.
3 and 3 looks really good on both sides of the wings
Yeah.
of the seals. And so I looked at a lot of other ones, and they use 6, and the last one they use is the Merchant Marines, which in World War II, 9,000 to 12,000 people are estimated to have died that served in the Merchant Marines, and they were given veteran status, and it came out to like 1 in 26 people that served in the Merchant Marines died. When I went through the in service, I looked through the veterans master list of names here, and we do have someone that was a Merchant Marine that did pass, so I think it would be appropriate to include the Merchant Marines. And as long as there's not protocol against it, I wouldn't include Space Force because nobody on this list has died from Space Force. But that may be a
Coast Guard.
question. Yeah, Coast Guard's
That's part,
included. Yeah.
that's why I get 6.
Yep. So I don't know if anybody has any more insight on that, if we have to use Space Force or not, or if we should. But that could be a question that any of you can chime in on. The other thing is I've researched into it that we have to get permission to use the seal. We have to reach out to the DOD and get written permission to actually use it on a monument. So that's to staff, we'll have to look into getting that. The last thing that I'll say before we get into the details of what, yeah, there it is on screen. And this is just a mock-up, so we can change it and do what we need. And before I dig into the actual design, I just want to say that the plan as of now is once we get a better idea of when this is going to take place, when it's going to be fully installed and ready to be unveiled, we will hold an unveiling ceremony. I've spoken to Congressman Michael Waltz, and he wants to be involved to speak and help dedicate it. He was the first ever Green Beret elected to Congress, and so he's very interested in doing that. And we want to invite the whole veteran community throughout Volusia County to be involved, and we hope to have your support in helping us put this together. I would expect hundreds of people to be there. Today when I voted, I went in and the mother of her name is Lisa Wizenant, and her son in 2010 died in service, and his name will be on here. And I spoke with her today. She was actually working the polls, and she asked about this. And we want to make sure that any family members or friends are invited and make sure that they can be there, have a seat right up front, so that we can help honor them and their family. So with that, we can jump in and kind of just round robin. Any idea is a good idea, and I think the best ideas will win. When looking at this, I kind of really like the design. I think that our city seal is a little bit too big, but I believe that the inscriptions for the names should be kind of where his mouse is. I envision it being 2 columns. Because there's 15 or 16 names right now, and we may find 1 or 2 more. We're going to continue to go out to the community and make sure we didn't miss anybody from that said Daytona area, but it's actually Holly Hill. So that's what I envision. And then where it says in memory of all who sacrificed, I would want to customize that with something we all come up with today, and I have 3 or 4 different ideas for that. I'm sure everybody has ideas of how we say exactly who these people are and what this is signifying. The reason why the names will go on this side is I consider this to be the front side, because during any Veterans Memorial Day or Veterans Day, I envision those things being held in front of this. And the reason why this is the front is so then that way it'll be picturesque with the city hall in the background, as opposed to if you did it the other way, all of the crowd would be facing the road, seeing the cars go by. Also, behind that, closer up to the road back there, is our flagpole, our new flagpole. It's new and improved and larger with a very large American flag. So it kind of it just looks better that way. So that's kind of the background on this, and so now I want to throw it to any of my commissioners if you have any questions, ideas, thoughts that we need to talk about first, and then we can go around and throw out quotes and ideas for the back side, front side, and go from there. So, any commissioner? Yes, sir. District Vice Mayor.
I agree with you. Our logo should not be that much bigger than the people we're honoring logo. And if you look at, I think there needs to be, like you said, there should be 2 lines. There's 13 names on each one of those lines. So if you had 8 and 8, the font could be much larger, much more legible. And I think we should use the 6. I'm not so in favor of the Space Force right now.
What are the 6?
Those are just placeholders. They're copied.
I'm asking.
Oh.
I think if we have someone that died that was in the Merchant Marines, we should put the Merchant Marines.
Oh, he's asking.
So Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, and Merchant Marine.
Right, and if we had someone that passed away from Merchant Marines,
That's
Got it.
6, without the Space Force.
and then to,
Be 7.
You know,
just tell me to shut up when you want me to shut up, but I did a lot of Google research on the sayings on these things, and I had 25, and I boiled it down to 5. And then I never noticed, if you, my #1 choice, I have 10 copies here. You want to talk about these now? or-
Yeah. So we're talking about let's talk about just the front side
Okay.
right now. We'll
Okay.
go to the back side after.
you and I can share it.
So just
That's only gonna
yes,
take
a
out-
little
I don't know if I have
conversation
one
that the
forever.
mayor and I had was, there's a certain number of names that fit on that center stone, and we're assuming, and God willing, we never have to, but if we have to add more names that go beyond the center stone, that's why there's space on the two side stones.
Right.
So, this is gonna be here for a long, long time, and hopefully we don't have any wars where we lose anybody on active duty ever again, but if we do,
But are we only gonna put,
But are those logos, are they etched in there or are those seals glued on there?
There's two different ways to do that. But I believe these would be actually attached onto it. So.
It's like an
they can do
emblem
them-
on there?
Yeah. like an
My
emblem.
only fear is, and I hope we never have to add another name, but what if we have someone that dies in space? Where do we put it then? What do we do then?
Right.
I don't know. I like it's that it's symmetrical, but where's the seventh one gonna go if we have to have a seventh one? I guess it could just go
Below
below.
it.
One of those.
Under the Air Force.
Under? Yeah. Is
Under
that where
the
it would
Air
go?
Force.
Under the Air Force? I think that's a
Yeah.
good solution.
now the two center rows of names are gonna be just in the bottom half of that middle and nothing else? Because it seems like there's a lot of room for just
So
16
the
or
way
18 names.
the way I'd look at it is, you see there's 4 columns
Yeah.
now. I would only do 2 columns, and so the name would be able to be bigger, so it'd
Right.
It'll
be,
be a lot bigger.
and
Well, you don't need-
and then another one over here, and then
You don't
another
want
one
it too
under
big.
here. I would imagine that probably this much would be taken up. That way, God forbid there ever needs to be more, you still have more space.
How about something in the center, vertical?
I-
Do we want to put
If-
something in the center to fill in the gap so it doesn't look so,
I don't think it'll look,
Are you gonna be able to add names later?
yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
talking about, yeah.
yeah.
We hope we don't have to, but, yeah.
Chris, I would see 2 rows of 8 people right there.
Yeah,
And then you got room on the
Then you got room
outside.
on the outside.
yeah.
Do you want to leave all that room on the outside?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
'cause then you could-
wait a
For what?
second.
I would center
I
it.
I thought you were talking about using 2 rows for one name. A name and a branch or a year, is that what you were saying, or no?
I would have, you see how these names, there's 4 columns, and there's 4 different names on one line? I would have 2 different names on one line.
Hey, his
instead of
idea,
4.
Mayor,
So,
his idea takes up some space, because if you put the name and the branch,
I think that's what the mayor's saying.
oh, is that what you're saying?
And I think there's enough room, by the way, this is 6 feet wide, so just for, so it's
Yeah,
very
there
large.
should be enough room. for
Yeah,
that.
there will be enough, and that is a question that we'll need to figure out is, so we put their name, do we put their rank, and then do we put the year they died, or do we put the conflict that they were involved in? So
What happens if it's
Vietnam,
just the branch?
World War II, or if do you just put
The
the
branch.
branch?
And some may have died while on active duty, but not during a conflict.
I think you do the branch, keep it simple, because those guys, those names are just names, there's no branches, right?
Right.
So you're kind of taking 4 rows and you're making 4 rows out of name, branch, name, branch, name, branch. Maybe a little bit bigger because you don't have to go as deep because you don't have as many. And then you won't have all that extra room that I thought we were gonna have. Because I wasn't considering the branches, but that's a good idea. And you don't have to worry about years, you don't have to worry about ranks, who's above who, and it just puts where they, Marines, Navy.
Any chime in from our veterans here?
Yeah, you telling me that it's 6 feet wide. How tall is it?
It is about
6 feet tall, look at it.
Yeah.
6 by 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have schematics somewhere, I forgot.
I think it's like 6 and a
It's
half.
pretty.
Scroll down, I thought it was pretty.
No,
There it is.
6 feet 1 inch.
6'1".
6'1".
6'1".
Yeah.
So just for a quick visual, these tiles on the ceiling are 2 feet, so just imagine 3 of them, or what you're gonna anticipate that to be.
My thought would be their name, rank, and years of service, and the branch they ran. That's what I would,
Right.
You say name,
rank,
rank,
the branch,
Branch.
and years of service.
and years of service or year of death?
Well, when they, because you're gonna have the year of death
And
but
on
at the end, so
yeah.
that's gonna be So if they served from, let's say 1949 to 1975, you know, the year of death is gonna be 75.
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't, you know, you understand what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
That's gonna take a lot of line.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of long.
And the other thing too is that we're gonna come up with what we want. We're gonna tell the granite company.
And
They're gonna put it on and send it
Right,
to
they're
us.
gonna
and
say it
we're
doesn't
gonna
look
say- Right, right.
Right.
So they're gonna say you don't have enough room, or you need to actually fill up more space. So-
I kind of like the way you
Simple,
have it.
better.
I like the way you have it here. Donald Eugene Sizemore, United States Marine Corps, 1949 to 1969. Now, it does say PFC rank, but I think if you start putting all those ranks in there, it's
I
gonna
don't
be,
think you have to put the rank.
it's gonna be a lot. But I think the simpler the better, and I think they should be
That's
chronological.
That's gonna take 3 lines,
Right.
3 columns.
Right.
Do you have to put United States? Can't you just put Marines?
You can put US Navy, you can, or
Or
you can
Navy,
just put
Marine, I
Navy.
mean,
You
you
don't
know,
have to put
US.
US. You could,
Right.
I mean, it's US. I mean, we know that.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
would say Navy, Marines, and
If you
then
put
the,
them-
like
how about that, John?
1958.
No, that's fine.
You put the Navy, Marines, Air Force, whatever, and then put the years.
I mean,
That wouldn't take too much room, would it, Joe?
I won't know until we send the draft
Right.
off.
Yeah.
Are we paying by the letter like those internet?
Don't know that.
Well, no, the problem with the dates are, I'm noticing a couple of these, we don't have started and end date.
Yeah.
We only have maybe end date.
Yeah.
So we need to think about that too.
well, I think we can find out when they're born. I think that gives,
No, no,
Oh,
he's
he's
talking about,
talking about service.
No,
Actually,
it's years of service.
for me personally, it gives me, I don't know
Oh, it's like a-
John
like a
Milo.
regular-
I don't know John Milo, but I know he died young. He was born in 1943 and he died in 1966.
No,
Is that their birthday?
They had a birthday?
I think that's his service time,
No.
43 to
It
66.
was his birthday,
That's his
and then the
birthday.
year he died.
That's like Tombstone. That's his birthday.
No, because this guy was only 21
There's
then.
one,
He died
yeah,
at
there's a
21.
couple in
Wow.
here that were high school students.
It may be hard to track down some of these
Just
of when
graduated.
when they started, but we definitely know when they.
No, I mean like George Hampton. He was 21 years old when he died. That for me, that's more humbling than a 95-year-old person passing away. I know there's not too many 95 people in active service, but it lets me know that person, that because if you put the service date from 1965 to 1968, I don't know if he was 20 years old or 40 years old. And that makes him more, to me, it makes him more of a person than of a name on a wall. When I can see how old someone is, that's just how my brain works.
It's kind of more meaningful that he was 21.
It is, I mean,
I can see that.
I don't know. It's sad that they all passed away, but it just, I mean, I have kids that age, that's what hits me.
well, Vietnam Wall just has a name,
Yeah.
but that's strictly Vietnam.
Right.
Right, but there's like,
Most memorials only have a name, and then sometimes they do the branch. Sometimes they put the rank right before their names.
But the thing is, they're putting
how
thousands
many
of names
thousands
right
of
there.
names they put on.
Unfortunately.
You know, alternatively, you can put the name under the seal. So that anybody that died in the Navy, they're under the Navy seal. Anybody that died in the Army is under the Army seal.
True.
But you can only fit just the name at that point.
Yeah.
And,
Can't put
and
much of anything
Unless
else.
you
That's the way
put-
to do it.
unless
That's
you
the way
put-
to do it at Bellevue Memorial. They just put your name underneath the memorial and what it's set up for. And all they do is put on your name under that, like mine's under the U.S. Air Force, that's all it says.
What date's on it?
You don't have dates. If you want to know the date, you gotta look at the headstone. If you walk across the field, look at the headstone.
only
Name
issue
of
with
the
that
branch.
is there's a
What difference
lot.
does that make?
There's a lot of Army on here, so the Army would be overloaded, and then Air Force there's one.
You won't be symmetrical. The only way to be symmetrical is to do the names in the middle with the
Yeah.
branch and put alphabetical or whatever,
I think you need to put them chronologically when they pass
chronological or
away.
something.
Yeah,
Have an
that's
order
the
to
other
it?
thing that I think is pretty easy to get is we could get out of the way now is we could all agree that the order of the names will be the chronologically of when their death occurred. So
well, since you're talking about possibility of adding more, what is the font size fit on there.
So that's what we're trying to figure out is we'll have to tell them what we want on here, and then they're gonna have to lay it out and show us what font sizes would be best to take up enough space. You know, we want it to be as big as possible, but not take up, we wanna leave ideally some room on the bottom for the worst case scenario.
Yeah, because you know, a lot of us, we have bad eyesight.
Right. Yeah, I don't want
Blind in
it.
one eye, can't see out the other, yeah.
I don't
That's
want
what
it.
they got magnifying glasses for, brother. No.
Yeah.
Well, we want to leave enough room for how many names?
You don't know, I mean,
Well, it says 16 right now, but I think one of them may be coming off.
I mean,
We want to leave
unfortunately,
room for how many names in case? Half a dozen both
Yeah.
sides,
I-
God forbid?
Yeah.
I think you need to make it a reasonable font, whether it's an inch or whatever they tell you is a reasonable font. And there should be a lot of space underneath, empty space. I don't think you need to fill it because unfortunately,
Yeah.
You may find
you're gonna have more names. And I mean,
And
this,
you want to have this last a long time.
yeah, you don't wanna have to have, you know, another stone. This is
Right.
something that needs to be here for
So it's
100
half?
years.
Leave half, maybe?
Yeah, I would assume it to be about that much.
Well, let's start with, are you
Or
going to
maybe a
keep
third.
the in memory of all who served for our freedom on there? Because that takes up a bit of space.
Well, that's
So it needs to have an inscription, so I think that City of Holly Hill seal needs to be a lot smaller.
Same size as the other one.
And then, yeah, at least, maybe even smaller.
Yeah, that's gonna
depending.
bring everything up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then, I don't want it to say exactly in memory of all who sacrificed. So we can actually wordsmith that now. Let's go into that one first. And then, John, we're gonna come back to your quotes.
Okay.
Well, let me just summarize what you've got so far. So
Of
you've
course,
got,
we're gonna put-
we got to get
Quote goes
permission
on
to
the
use the
back.
seals.
Oh.
The city seal is too big, we want to make it the same size or smaller than the other seals. We're going to include Merchant Marines. We're going to list the name, the branch, and their birth and death dates.
Correct.
And I think that though, once this company, they'll put it on there and show us with the font size. And then at that point, if it's too small, then we could take out maybe
The years.
the year, or just put the death
Okay,
date.
then we're going to put
Yeah, I
in-
think the date's important because a lot, without saying Vietnam War,
Right.
Korean War, the date will more or
We'll
less.
tell
Tell you what
They
it was.
died in the Korean War.
Right.
They died, you know.
Right. Yeah, if you had to lose something, I think you could lose,
The branch?
I think you could lose.
No, I don't think you want to take the branch.
Right.
That's got to be included.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
why I said the name of the
Yeah.
branch for sure, and
They-
then see, have them lay it out.
They
We
would
look
be
at it.
very prideful
Yeah.
of who they served
So
for.
name, branch,
and
and
length.
birth date and death date.
And then once it's laid out, we'll get a better idea.
Okay, well, that's that.
And you know,
We got
Joe, while you're at
military
it, since you're
fellas
making
in
Holly
my
Hill
family,
smaller,
No.
maybe you might want to make the branch logos bigger.
Well, they have to, you know,
I know they got to fit on there, but
eh,
don't make ours this big.
if you, no,
Yeah,
make it the
no,
same
no.
size or slightly
What goes under
smaller.
the?
But the other
oh,
branches,
nothing?
if you add 1 inch onto them, there's 3 of them, an inch on each side, you know, that's 2, 4, 6 inches.
No, they set it up because they're professional, that's why you should
And
leave it.
John, if you look at that, that looks to be about 2 feet wide. That
Yeah,
city
I don't
seal.
think you need to make those bigger.
Yeah,
That's
right.
for sure.
The city
branch-
seal definitely should be a lot.
But we shouldn't be bigger than the branches.
Our city
No,
seal should be
right.
No, it should be the
Just
same
the same,
size. That,
smidge less.
that way it.
Right.
So, yeah, our seal, the city
symmetrical,
seal
that way we good.
should be slight, smaller, right?
The two monuments on each side of that, is that's all gonna be up there is the seal?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's it.
Why?
Say that again? What?
The two on the side.
Mhm.
The
Well,
only thing will be up there is the seal?
so on the sides, Mr. Forte and I talked about, God forbid there was a major war, then there is more space to
Or
add
another branch.
over on those side wings as well. On the back side, we're gonna see, we can do symbols, we can do a quote. I would envision a quote on the back side of it and a couple symbols. We could put symbols on the front side as well under those as well. I mean, do you have an idea for what could go underneath those emblems?
Well, I was asking that since, because I'm still stuck on adding more names.
Mm-hmm.
And when you brought up about the Vietnam Memorial, it took up every little space they can get.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm saying, what's wrong with that? If you kind of spread the names out, that'll bring even those other names to come up even higher.
Right.
Right.
They're gonna come up higher anyway when they shrink the seal. the city
We're also
seal.
leaving room in case the Space Force or something other kind of,
Yeah, I think with the changes we've talked about, you'll see that there's gonna be a
There's gonna be a
significant amount
significant amount of
more room
space added.
on that main
yeah,
one.
Right.
And like has been shot around here, it will give the opportunity on the two wings to put Space Force seal if that becomes necessary. Or, God forbid, we have, another, conflict, thank you. We have that space if needed. None of us want to use it, but
It looks like Jim Janine.
So I'll read a couple. I kind of took a lot of different parts from different memorials on what they say. So right above those names, you could say so just see what you like. Dedicated to the veterans of Holly Hill who gave their life in service of our country, or who sacrificed their life for our beloved country, or their beloved country. Dedicated to the heroic valor and patriotic spirit of these Holly Hill citizens who sacrificed their life for their country, we will never forget. Now that's really long. That's the longest one. Another one is in grateful tribute to the Holly Hill veterans who gave their life in service to our great country. And the last one I wrote was the city of Holly Hill honors our sons and daughters who answered the call of the nation. We are ever grateful for their sacrifice. That's from a different monument. And then if anyone else has ideas or if you like any of...
Mayor, I'd like to mention one thing.
Yes.
Family. You got to mention these families. They lost a son, lost a daughter, and it's got to perpetuate the name in the family because it's very stressful for parents to lose individuals in the service. And another thing too, if they gave their life, they came from Holly Hill and they were born somewhere else, it ought to be recognized. Because not all the Holly Hill casualties were born in Holly Hill.
we're still recognizing them.
yeah,
As long as they were Hollyhillian, they could have been born anywhere as long as they were,
yeah,
had lived
but if
here.
they were raised here and lived here.
That's it, but I think where the family came from ought to be recognized. How many of
I
you
don't know if there's enough.
were born in Holly Hill?
None of us.
None.
There you go.
No, we're all born in
I was
Daytona
born in
Beach.
Daytona Beach. I lived in Holly Hill forever.
Lived here my whole life. So, does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Read the first one you said again.
That one was dedicated to the veterans of Holly Hill who gave their life in service of our country.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
It's short, it's sweet. The other ones were a little too long.
Yeah. So, I'll read that again. Dedicated to the veterans of Holly Hill who gave their life in service of our country. Now, we could change that to our beloved country, our great country. We could also change it from who gave their life in service to who sacrificed their life for our beloved country, or country. Who sacrificed their life or who gave their life.
How about there's no greater love than for a man to lay down his life for his country or countrymen.
That might go on the back.
That's what we're talking about on the back.
That's on the
Oh,
back.
okay.
We're trying to identify who these names are
Yeah.
on the front.
And when we get to that, we'll wait till we get to that.
Or they answered the last call.
You want to read that to me again? Dedicated to the veterans of Holly Hill who...
The third one,
Sacrificed
Who either
their-
gave their life in service of our country or who sacrificed their life for our
what was the one after the wordy one? Like the fourth one down or something?
in grateful tribute to the Holly Hill veterans who gave their life in service to our great country. So instead of saying dedicated to, it would say in grateful tribute to.
Is that the last one or is there one after
Then
that?
there's one more. The city of Holly Hill honors our sons and daughters who answered the call of the nation. We are
No,
ever
that
grateful
wasn't-
for their sacrifice.
They answered the call.
The third one was the one that's real long or is that the second one?
The third one's really long. Dedicated.
No, that wasn't it either.
That one was, okay.
All right.
Was it the dedicated to the heroic valor and patriotic spirit of these Holly Hill citizens
That
who
wasn't all
sacrificed their life for their country?
dedicated to the veterans of Holly Hill
Oh, she's got it.
who
So-
gave their life in service of our country.
Is it of our country or for our country?
4. I would say 4.
For,
Chris?
either makes grammatical sense.
Life in service
Where's
for.
my wife?
So it could be who sacrificed their life for our beloved country.
Sacrifice is a stronger word, I think.
Yeah, I like the word
I like
sacrifice
sacrifice.
because that's exactly what they
But isn't
did.
it in memory? It's not, I mean, dedicated.
In memory of the veterans?
I would say,
It's a
yeah,
Yeah.
in
monument.
memory of.
It's gonna be dedicated, but it's more of a memorial thinking
Yeah.
of, and
And
when you look at this, you're to remember. In memory, so, you know, it's like, this is
Yeah.
you
The
see it
veteran-
reflect in memory.
service
Perfect.
of our great country, our beloved country, or is that too much?
Nah, I wouldn't get too worried.
For our
I would
country.
just put, right?
Put great in red.
And sometimes they,
Right.
yeah, sometimes they
I put
do.
again in parentheses.
Sometimes they do their country. Is it our
What if you
country or
took
their
out
country?
Oh,
Preposition.
their country,
You make it a
makes
lot
sense.
shorter. You put in memory, you know, Holly Hill veterans.
Of Holly
Take
Hill
out all the-
veterans?
You're taking out, the. I'm saying, if you reword it the other way, take out the preposition.
Oh, yeah, sacrifice.
Right, it'd be,
You have a dang
in memory
participle.
of Holly Hill veterans.
I like that
Exactly.
Memory of the
The Holly
Holly
Hill.
Hill. I would say the.
Yeah, the.
In memory
right.
of the Holly Hill veterans.
Or
who
our.
sacrificed.
You say our.
Oh, you could say our.
I think R is better.
Yeah.
our.
Our. In memory of our.
I think you're repeating yours.
Holly Hill veterans who
Yeah,
sacrificed.
you can cut out that of Holly Hill out
Yeah,
now.
take that one out. Oh, we're getting good better now.
Yeah,
Who sacrificed
Right.
now,
Their lives.
now, how many letters?
Should
do we
be
have?
live.
Lives.
Yeah, it should be live.
Lives,
You got
L-I-V-E-S.
2 tenses there.
Is it lives or lives? I think it's lives.
No, lives.
Lives.
Live.
V.
Lives or
Yeah.
lives?
No,
Lives,
lives.
L-I-V-E-S.
They
Yeah,
sure.
their lives.
Right.
Is it in service
Might be
to
lives.
their
Is it sheep
country?
or sheeps?
Well, I
Is it-
think it's,
No, it's lives.
Well, let's figure.
Their lives.
In service to their country or for their country?
For their country, I think.
Okay.
you serve for your country.
In memory of a Holly Hill.
Should I text that to my wife? She's a teacher.
No, she's a math teacher.
No, she's a teacher. Montessori.
I don't know, maybe it
Does she
would
have
be
a red
to-
pen?
To their country.
My chief used to have a green pen.
Do we need the words in service?
Service to their country.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they died in service, we're
Yeah.
on the ones that
I
died in
think
They're
we need that.
You're putting, you know that because they're a veteran.
Yeah, but it's, they're
Yeah,
died
but
in
that's
service.
what,
Insert, that's true. You want to
Right,
make
Yeah.
a
we don't-
point
Right.
Yeah.
that they died, sacrificed their lives in service.
yeah,
Right.
Right.
I like it.
In service for that. That's really good.
Excellent.
What do you gentlemen say?
I like
Isn't that
it.
excellent?
It's, to me, it's the last call. So a
Excellent.
lot of it's understood. It's a veterans memorial, so you know
Yeah.
doggone well it's a service to your country.
Well, you know
I
that.
think that looks
So
good.
right now, you just look for ideas to go on the front, and
On the
that's,
front.
and that's one of them.
Right.
So that
See,
would,
he said it there too. For their, you say for their country, I say to their country, because he said it whenever he read it. He said to their country, and that's what stuck in my mind.
Well, that word could be
sacrifice their-
fixed, whoever grammatically fixes it. That's not gonna change the sentence.
I do agree with him though.
Two?
Or-
I could go either way on it.
Yeah.
We have to find out the
In
proper
service to-
grammatical way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it should be for.
I could go either
So,
way.
Larry, it sounds like you have something different you want to,
Well, I was looking at the paper that the gentleman,
Oh, those were for the back.
that's for the back.
Yes.
Yes.
You got something that might fit the front too, but.
I know, yeah.
And also, I have some folks that submitted a few themselves.
Good.
And as you were talking about the length of it, now, I spotted two on here. I can read two of them that, you know, if you wish. This one says, this memorial recognizes the achievements and enduring sacrifice of our fallen heroes. The other one has, every aspect of this memorial represent or symbolizes an important part of their sacrifice. This one is kind of lengthy, but yeah, I'll read it anyway. This memorial is in recognition of the legacy and contribution by our veterans who gave the greatest gift anyone could give another person, freedom. This one up here has, we grieve with you and we honor your enduring sacrifice. You will ever remain a part of our community. And the other one is way too long. But it was submitted, so.
Those are beautiful, yeah.
I'll read it anyway. This memorial recognizes the Holly Hill soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who gave their all for the defense of the United States of America. All Americans need to pay homage to these great servicemen for their heroic service. Because of their determined efforts, we are a free nation. And that's where it's been submitted. So
Those are all beautiful. I don't know if they should go on the front or
Or back,
above
that's
the
what I'm
names
saying.
or.
That's why I asked, you know, did it have the medical, even, any of these can go to the front and back.
Yeah. Well, let me just ask the group, do we feel confident in right above the names and what we just kind of workshop all together here? So be as short, concise.
Yes.
Right.
I do like some of the
Checking on
words.
spelling.
Let's just check two or four.
I'm checking on that.
Yeah, okay. And then, so now we can talk about the backside, and so John Penny gave us 5 quotes here, and
Yeah, I had like 25. I boiled it down to these 5, and then the one I liked the best, what came to my mind when I started thinking about this was, and I didn't know who said it, was that all gave some gave all.
Yep.
But then I started researching, and the number 5 is my favorite one for the monument. And if you
go back to the picture,
it says
and
it.
you scroll up, it says that exact thing on the monument It
that
does.
they, that they
That they
sent
put as
us.
a
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Because it's right in front of the flagpole. And it says, our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last
Right there.
breath of each soldier who died protecting it.
Right there.
And I was like, oh my God, that's,
Yeah,
So-
it literally says it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
I'd
And
never,
then we have to put something on the sides too.
right, that's what I'm saying. So some of these ones that,
And could we have the flag like that displayed?
Yeah, so that's the thing is we can have, you know, pictures
With
of
the
flag.
wording?
I don't know if I like that particular icon of the flag. There's a lot of
But we
different
can
ones.
have an icon and the wording
Oh,
are
yeah.
the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that quote too, John.
it just like, it punched me in the gut. You read the other ones, and some of
But there
some
was
of them are
one of the
just,
ones this gentleman read I like too for maybe one of the.
What was the one you
wings.
said about the community? You
Yes.
said forever remain part of our community.
I think that was the lengthy one.
Why it says 4,
Huh?
Chris?
What?
It says 4. It's the proper word.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, it says, we grieve with you and we honor your enduring sacrifice. You will ever remain a part of our community.
In other words, you're not forgotten.
Right, exactly.
I can't read the ones that are up there,
Yeah,
but I think,
Yeah, I can't read them either.
I like the one in the middle, so I'm not trying to not trying to talk you out of that one.
Further.
But when you read the other ones, I think it's impactful when you read the quotes. The one I read is unknown. There's no credit given to that quote.
Yeah,
But when you read something from Franklin Delano Roosevelt,
right.
it's impactful. You know, so I don't know. Some of these have been played and played and played and played and used and used and used. But, you know, those who have long enjoyed such privilege as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. Franklin Roosevelt.
You know, the only problem I have with that, and the mayor and I talked about it earlier, was.
It says men.
Right now you have a list of men, but nothing says you're not gonna have a woman someday. And
No, I get it. I just was using that one as an example. I'm not,
Yeah,
It could say that those have died.
yeah.
that's not his quote. You can't use
Yeah.
his quote and change it
Right.
and put his
So
name on it.
put.
You can
put,
change one word and make it your quote.
Yeah, that's, because I had a quote from General Patton. It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died.
Yeah.
Rather, we should thank God such men live.
I had that one too, but I
Oh, did
was
you?
like, I had too many. I had to boil it down.
Theodore Roosevelt said, "Never throughout history has a man who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering," which I thought was neat for putting a name in stone worth
Yeah.
remembering. But, you know, he's right. It talks about a man, and if there's a woman later, then they may take down the whole monument nowadays. It's ridiculous. So, I won't get into that, but you gotta be a little careful. Make sure
Yeah,
it's
it's just a
Well,
little-
did you read number 3 on my list? It says,
I like 3.
heroes never die. They live on forever in the hearts and minds of those who follow in their footsteps.
I
But
like,
who
I
is
like the
who
third.
is
I vote
Emily
for
Potter?
3.
Yeah.
I don't know who Emily Potter is. I just like that quote.
Do we have to put who did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to.
Yeah, if you quote.
But let's look into who Emily Potter is. Make sure.
Let's make
she's
sure it wasn't
not-
like some.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nazi communist.
communist or something. Yeah.
But I mean, that one, like, you're reading these names and you're feeling sad, but you're living after them. You have to go on.
Yeah,
That's
Mhm.
That's a really good one.
Oh wow, you actually found who said that all gave some give all. I looked
Yeah,
it
I
up,
Googled
couldn't
it,
Find
and
who
yeah.
it was.
it was a guy receiving a Bronze Star, I believe.
It's on the internet. What is it?
Yeah.
Must be true.
So there are symbols, the symbols I like of America, obviously the flag represents a lot of things, but unity is a good one. A bald eagle symbolizes strength and freedom. But one symbol that I think is important that we somehow incorporate is the POWMIA symbol or emblem.
Yeah,
on
because
this.
it's MIA city. We are an MIA city.
Right, right. So I don't know if that should, if maybe just a whole wing on the right side, let's say we do the logo of the POWMIA. And there could, actually they have a quote, they have a motto.
Did we
What is-
conclude the language yet?
On the millstone, no.
Yeah.
No. Kind of threw out some quotes.
Mills, I thought we were going with that one. With the flag.
So, John threw out, our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. I like that one too.
And that just hit me in the gut.
Yeah.
We don't have to use that flag. I mean, you
No,
don't change the
and,
picture of
and
flag.
here, I found some other pictures of other flags and eagles and.
I like the eagle on the back.
We are not forgotten. is
Oh,
the
wow, I
flag
like
that
that.
And there's also,
I like that.
just.
That's nice too.
Yeah.
We are not
The eagle's
forgotten.
nice, but they fought for the flag.
Oh, you are not
Yeah, I
forgotten.
know.
Yes, you
I
are,
know.
you are not forgotten.
See,
True.
You know,
And
we
so
don't
for the
pledge to the eagle.
POWMIA could say their motto, which is "You are not forgotten," which is meaningful.
I don't know who Emily Potter is.
See, there's different types, and there's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
different types of flags. But these are some that I like: the eagles and the
What
Yeah.
did you say her name
different
was again?
flags, as opposed to that one.
Yeah.
Potter?
Lee Potter, she's an
I go
athlete.
to that.
That's not her.
Yeah.
That's not her.
She's a basketball player. She's
Right.
26 years old.
All right, that's not her.
She's a 6'5" basketball player.
We at our
Sorry,
chapter, we have a memorial
flag underneath that
saying
flag.
We could.
those, may they rest in peace and never be
Yeah.
forgotten.
Oh, I found her.
Like that and that.
I like that one there.
Yeah. So I'll just show, there's all different kinds, so I think, Joe,
Belonging of the
though,
millennium, is that who you got?
we would have to give them direction that
Beginning
we
of the millennium? Yeah,
want
belonging
a
of the
flag and maybe,
millennium, yeah.
but not that
Yeah.
one, and they could come back with a different type
Different kind of flag.
and show it to us.
So we like the
Right.
flag, and we like a flag in the center, and the POWMA on one side and an eagle on the other side, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, yeah,
I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to conclude with this.
But we're in a period of our history that underneath the American flag, we fly the MIAPOW flag.
We're gonna put their seal on it,
And so, should be underneath that American flag.
In the middle.
two flags
Instead of
on
having
the
its
same
own-
flagpole.
Instead of having its own stone?
I'm just not sure if there's enough room that's gonna show it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the MIA-POW seal, you can put the flag instead of the seal.
Right.
But I don't
Emily
think
Potter's
you
just
have
some
enough
writer.
room.
I don't know who she is.
Right, those are
Who,
literary.
Potter?
Yeah.
I saw that I couldn't find anything on her, but I found her quote in there.
Yeah, it
It's in
said she's a
there.
writer. She's written a lot of books.
She wrote one good quote.
We all
Well,
like
and
her, right?
also too, we could choose a couple of these quotes that we like, and we could have them put it on the center stone with the flag, and have them lay it out, and then we'll see which one looks best. So if we were to put, I like the idea of putting the MIA POW on the maybe on the
Right,
right one.
right. What are you gonna
or
put on the left
one.
though? What are we gonna put on the left to balance it though?
Yeah, I know.
Put the eagle on the left.
Eagle.
You could put an eagle and another quote.
Yeah, we gotta put some,
or-
you gotta put, if you're gonna put the eagle, you gotta put something short under it then.
Yeah.
And
Maybe all gave
All gave some gave all.
That's
Yeah.
good too.
and
Right.
under the
And then
eagle,
that'll balance it
that'll
out.
balance it with the POW thing.
Motto underneath, yeah. That would actually be good.
It might not harm us to have, City Hall send out through social media about that again, because I know I shared it, and it got a lot of responses, so.
Yes.
It might not hurt to go ahead and share it again, just in case anybody missed it the first
I
time.
agree. And so let's, I think that we've honed this in, but are there other ideas before we kind of move on to let them bring this back to us and show it? But are there any other ideas that you wanted to talk about? All right,
Can I
so,
say something?
yeah, very quickly, because we
Sure.
have our
So,
meeting in 5 minutes.
One other name that I'd like on the list, if you don't mind, would be the unknown soldier, maybe the year 1776. Just a thought.
Okay.
During the presentation, I'm hoping that I could put some poppies, the red poppies, in 2 urns on the 2 gray spots over there for the presentation. And I hope that we could get a flag, a eagle on the top of the flagpole, a larger eagle than what's there. There we go.
Those are great ideas, yeah. Those are great ideas, thank you. And so just so everyone is aware, and so we have a commission meeting in a couple minutes, but to wrap this up, we will hold a large community event, and we will include everyone in that. Obviously, we don't know the date because we got to figure out the timing of when this will be installed and ready. And so I don't know how long this is going to take to get back with us, but if Val has your information, we can share out these plans with everyone. If something sticks out, please say something. Don't see an error and not say something until we get it, engraved. So please feel free to reach out to us. It's a collaborative effort. And I want to thank you all very much for your time, for being here this evening and to help us with this. So is there anything further from any of you first?
Rolling Thunder goes to different cities and sets up a MIA POW memorial. It's like a chair. So we ought to be thinking about where we're going to put ours when we are asked.
Okay. Good point. We will.
So we got to be ready for that
All
when
right.
they're ready to come to our city for the MIA POW memorial chair.
Sounds good.
It's made out of stone.
Okay. Anybody else?
Now, the quotes that are on the back, you're using each stone for that? And did you decide what you're gonna use on that?
So on the back side, looking at a couple different quotes, see which ones fit best. I liked the number 3 that John Penny said, but I really gotta look into this Emily Potter and see who she is. All gave some gave all, would be on the left-hand side underneath an eagle, a picture of an eagle.
Got that?
The right side would be the POW and MIA seal with the motto underneath it. You are not forgotten.
That's the motto, you are not forgotten.
Yes. And
Looks like Emily's a Christian writer from Idaho.
Yeah, I couldn't find one.
you know what too? Our national motto is "In God We Trust." I wouldn't mind seeing that actually on the left-hand side instead of all gave some gave all, whichever looks better.
Yep.
I don't know. We can get that mocked up and see which one looks better.
Can you say God out loud anymore?
What is the one you just said?
I will. What's that?
All on the space, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
It's the motto, the POWMIA.
I've never heard that.
You never heard that? You'd have a family business going on.
And we don't really trust $20 bills anymore.
Yeah.
All right. And if you come across a better quote, I like the one that's on there, John, if we could make it look nice
Yeah.
with an American
I
flag.
never noticed it was on there until I looked it up and I was like,
Wow, that's the same one as on there.
That our flag does not fly because the wind that moves it flies the last breath of the shoulder without protecting it. It's a good one. All right.
I have all that up there, that's
all right.
so far.
So is there anything else from the commission? Anything else? Anything else from anybody?
Yeah, Mayor Chris,
Yes, sir.
American Legion Post 120 is prepared to help in the dedication ceremony with our color guard if requested, and we're also prepared to make a monetary donation to help defray any expenses for the dedication. We found out that you're already funded for the memorial itself because we were prepared to make a major donation too.
Wow.
But Commander Dave Laurie told me at our last meeting
Yeah.
that you had that
Right.
covered. But this memorial means so much to the American Legion and to all of our veteran service organizations that from the bottom of my heart and all of us here, we thank everybody here that had a part in putting this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for saying that.
There's nothing
We
more
can't-
beneficial
Well, we can't thank you all
to
enough,
help the
seriously.
memory of our fallen soldiers.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your service.
Yes,
you.
thank
All
you,
right.
each of you.
And so with that, if
Pleasure
there's
meeting
nothing
you.
further, anything further? All right, this meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.